Hello, and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. Yeah, rather quiet today after yesterday's breakout, but obviously just consolidation on a pretty high level. Bitcoin's still doing quite well, and there are some really interesting developments in some of the crypto charts, especially Veracity, but I made a video about that. So yeah, I think ETH can still push higher as long as this 1659 level is holding. That's our micro support. And ideally, I don't want the price to get below that level. If it does, then I think it will lose upside momentum. Downside pressure will increase below that level. And then trading on the long side will just become much more risky, okay? At the moment, 1659 is support, and already suggested to you a few days ago that 1630 was support. Then we lifted it up together with the price. We always need to move that support level up with the price. Only as soon as we have 5 waves, we can take it off. Because as long as we don't have 5 waves, just technically, the 4th wave should not drop below the 50% FIB level. So if it does that, it's the first signal that something's wrong here. At least we talk about a sustained break. We want to avoid a sustained break below 1659. So at the moment, the forecast is therefore still for price to push higher. Really don't want to add a micro count here. It would be some kind of a strange diagonal, this whole move up. It's very, it's not the great count there. I mean, if I had to, I would say that obviously here we had an ABC structure to the upside in wave 1, similar to Bitcoin. And if I had to give you a micro count, I would even say that probably this here was an A wave. This here was a B wave. And we're now moving up in wave C of 3 like Bitcoin. Okay, and then in the C wave, we probably have probably a 1-2 setup, 3, 4, maybe one more high in wave 5, but I find that a bit unreliable. It will probably change as well. Key is that this level shouldn't break. Okay, so just to keep it simple. And then an ideal target for the 3rd wave, that would be the 1.618 Fibonacci extension level. So that's at around about 1790. Ideally, I'd like to see here one more high, unless really a strange diagonal is forming. I mean, it reached the 1.236 extension. I cannot rule out that wave 4 is already in the making, but again, even then, the 1659 level is important. And until then, I expect price to go higher once more in circle wave 3 to around about 1790, maybe a little higher. 1800 is also going to be important resistance. It's the 50% Fibonacci retracement. Then I'd like to see a 4th wave. Then I'd like to see a 5th wave. If those 5 waves up are complete, remember, this could just be a high B wave in the yellow wave count, in which a flat structure was formed, A, B, C. Absolutely possible because a C wave can be an ending diagonal. Okay, so it has to be a C wave or a wave 1, basically, right? It has to be a wave C in B or wave 1, because a wave 1 can be a leading diagonal, and the C wave could be an ending diagonal, because that's not impulsive here. It's a very, it's very choppy structure or sloppy, but that's not necessarily bearish. Okay, so it's just not very clean, that price action. So again, comments remain the same. Against 1659, we can focus on higher. Ideally, I'd like it to get into this region, into the resistance area, possibly more in the upper half. Especially if the wave 3 reaches roughly 1800, then the 5th wave should go higher, 1856, 1932. Could even go above it. If it goes above it, it would rather emphasize the wide wave count. But chances are there will be a rejection also because there is this trend line going right through the resistance area. And then as soon as we have the 5 waves up, we're watching for the ABC pullback. I'll give you a support area as I did here. This one was a great potential buy point for anybody who wanted to, medium term. That's up to you, of course. If you use these areas, they are typically the opportunity areas where even in bearish scenarios, we typically see some kind of a reaction. Also when we then come down, I mean, there will be a support area that I will measure. I can only measure that as soon as we have a top in place. And then I will put this opportunity area onto the chart for a pullback trade, for a 3rd wave rally into $3,000, $4,000 into this range. But obviously it could break, right? This support can break because it could just be here a high B wave, which will sell off. which is why anybody who wants a little bit more confidence or confirmation could just wait for a small reaction out of this area to the upside, or even in a bear, even if this breaks eventually this support area, normally we typically see some kind of a reaction. Okay, so you can buy and move up your stop or whatever. Yeah, but not much more to add about ETH. So I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.